All right, everybody, we are back with another episode of Wealth for the Culture. Got the first international guest straight out of England. So this is crazy, man. She doing big things. I'll let her give a little background, but I'm gonna go and hype her up a little bit first. Straight out of England, got her own company she running. She not only does she have her own company, she employing others to do their thing in the real estate game. So you can't really hate on that. You gotta respect it, gotta love it. And hey, and most importantly, she's one of us. She's black. She's doing it big, and that's the main thing about this platform. We just try to bring on our own, highlight them, man. Because a lot of times we go, hey, give me your flowers while you here. You know what I mean? If you could, first off, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Ollie. How are you?
I can't complain. It's Saturday, I'm just trying to work. Just trying to work.
Yeah, it's all out here hustling.
And normally how we go about doing these podcasts, I always let the guests kind of just break down your story, give a little bit of your background, because there may be people out there that may not know who you are. So just kind of break down, who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so my name's Gabriella Thompson. I'm a broker here in Houston, Texas. Thompson Associates is my brokerage. It's a brand new brand that I started back in 2019. I've been in the real estate industry for a little over 10 years now. And I've been in I'm from the UK originally, and I moved to the States when I was 14. I lived in upstate New York. I got to experience what it was like going to high school in America. But I graduated when in 2008. So the market crashed right before then, and we really started to feel the trickle-down effects in the economy. So there was nothing really going on in upstate New York at that time. So Houston's economy was popping, so I had to come down here, and I came to Houston, and it's just been phenomenal. There's so much going on in Houston. It's just an incredible city. It has so much going on. It's so easy to be an entrepreneur here. And so I moved here and I stayed, and I'm thriving and loving it.
I love to hear that. Hey, you already know. You shout out the Houston area. That's my hometown. So gotta show love. But so you came from England. What was the reason for the move from? What brought you over here? Like your family just came over and.
Yeah, so my stepdad was working for a company called Alstom. Alstom, they make trains, so they make the underground trains to New York. And they're originally a French company, and they had a contract in upstate New York, and they brought a whole team here and their families. So we came over at that time together. So me, my mom, my stepdad, and my siblings, we all moved, and just took a leap of faith and came and saw what America was about. We'd been here on vacation, like to Disney and Florida and things like that, but actual, other parts of America we hadn't been to before. So it was definitely an experience.
That's what's up. So are you like, was anybody else in your family, in the real estate game? Were they did they have their own company, or like you the first of the bunch?
Well, no one really had their own real estate company. My granddad on my mom's side, he has a plumbing company, and he flipped houses and kept them for rent. So I got exposed to that at a young age. And my mom, she'd always been a huge advocate for buying her own house and getting on the quote unquote mortgage ladder. It's something that they say in the UK. So we always had a house, and she always picked the ugly house, and we would renovate it and sell it and then move on. So, but that wasn't her career. It's just what we did, personally. My dad had a property that he inherited from my grandmother, and he rented out, and he always stressed to me the importance of owning, a piece of real estate and renting and having that passive income. So, and it wasn't his career either. It was just something that was, going on in his life. So just passively, it's just always been around me.
Hey, that's crazy because I mean, a lot of people I come across, they don't. Fortunate enough for you, you had somebody that had that that instilled in you from a young age. Because a lot of times you don't really see that, so that's definitely definitely dope to hear. So I want to kind of figure out. So you started off as a realtor. So like, how did that even how did you even get into this game? Like, wait, just one day you were just like, I just want to go this path.
Well, it's a lot of different things. Lots of small things got me here. It wasn't just one big moment where I said, I'm going to get my real estate license. It was a mixture of a lot of small things. One of the biggest things is my dad got me the Rich Dad Poor Dad book when I was a kid. I was like 14. Yeah, so I read that at the age of 14. So, and then, when you're in high school and you do that job placement thing where they send you out for the day or two, where you shadow somebody in a career that you think you might want to do.
Okay.
Yeah, well, our high school did that, and I chose a real estate company because I was, I read the book and I wanted to see what it was about, and I understood the importance of having real estate. So it was something I genuinely wanted to learn about from a young age. Actually getting my license happened literally the day that my working authorization card came in with my social security number as well, and all of my official papers. So when those things came in the mail, I just went straight down to the real estate school and got my license, because what had happened is that my status was all over the place. So I was on temporary visas and then had to renew it, get another temporary visa, and it was just very difficult because I could only live here and go to school. I wasn't actually allowed to make money. So I had to deal with immigration and get my status changed. And it takes time. You send your stuff off and you just sit and you wait, and you have to wait for immigration to get that to you. And while you're waiting, there's literally nothing you can do. You can't travel, mess with the borders, you can't do anything. So I was just sitting and waiting, and my friends were going to college and getting their degrees and moving on with their lives, and I was literally just sitting on the sideline just waiting. So when I did get everything that I needed, I didn't want to waste any more time. Originally, I did want to go to college and study business, but I just couldn't really. It was just a difficult situation. So then as soon as everything came in, real estate was the fastest way. It's the fastest way to build capital. It's the fastest industry to get into. So yeah, I just didn't take any chances, and as soon as it came, and that day I was signed up, ready to go. So.
Oh dang, that's all right. That's a crazy story. I wasn't expecting that. So I guess okay, so that's a lot going on right there. So you got sideline. I mean, I guess in a way, I mean everything we know it worked out for the best, because I mean you're doing your own thing, and probably it saves you a lot of debt, really, because college crazy expensive. But like, did you have like any mentors or anything when you got going and got started that helped you out along the way, or were you just kind of just figuring it out one step at a time?
For the most part, I had to figure it out. The company that I joined at the time had just gone independent, so they wasn't a major brand. So they were a small company, and they were one of those companies where you get 100% commission and you just pay a small transaction fee. So there wasn't really any classes. The broker that I was under, he was very much like, if you had a question, you had to go with, like, you literally had 10 seconds to get the question out of your mouth and for it to make sense for you to get the answer that you want. because his time was very limited. So you go to his office and he would be like, "What do you want?" And then you have to like blurt it out and hope that you get the answer that you need, because you really only get stuff. So it was that sort of an environment, and I was thrown in the deep end right away. It was very tough for sure. It did make me learn quickly because I had to jump in right away. Um, but for the most part, no, I didn't have a set mentor or anything like that. So it was a bit rough.
Hey, that's crazy right there. Because I feel like everything I do now, I want a mentor of some sort. Like, I mean, for the most part, at least just somebody you can bounce some ideas off of and bounce like things you're going through off of. So, shout out to you for doing that, because that's big in itself. But
Thank
this is what I want you to kind of break down, because I like we got a lot of people that listen in that don't really know. They know like basic stuff. They may hear some things, may not know things like what. Can you explain to everybody like what a broker is and what they do, and just all of that.
Yeah. So when you become a realtor, you get a real estate license. That allows you to meet with buyers and sellers and do transactions. But you have to be under what's called a broker. And so you have the broker, but then there's the brokerage, then there's the company. So there are tons of companies out there. Remax, Keller Williams, Century 21, Better Homes and Gardens. There's so many different brands out there, and I'm sure you guys have seen them or heard of them. And you pick, basically, when you're a realtor and you're getting into the industry, you have to pick the broker, the person that you like, and the team behind the office, like who's going to mentor you and do training. And then there's the brand aspect of it as well, because of course there's different cultures, office cultures and color schemes and the way they market and things like that. So an agent has to go in and not just pick the people, but pick the branding as well. Like, does this fit me and who I am and what I want to do in the industry? And the interview process is very different. It's a two-way street. So the agent picks the company and interviews them, and then also the company is interviewing them at the same time to see is this person, is this someone we want to represent our company or our brand? So that's how it works.
Okay. So, and I mean, I guess that I guess the only difference really, because I mean, when I talk to people I know a few people that are in the real estate game. I mean, some of them I know they're like wholesalers and stuff like that. But others, I know they're realtors and stuff. So I guess the difference I would say between the brokers, from what I hear, is kind of, I guess, the commission that you make off of like deals that you do.
Yes. So it's a job where you are pretty much 100%. It's 100% commission based. So you don't have a set salary or hourly rate wage. Some companies do, like Redfin, or some companies may hire someone on their team and put them on a salary sometimes, but for the most part, it is going to be a commission-based income. And then each brokerage and each company will have a specific different split and different fees that they charge for training and things like that. So it really is a business. When you get in as a realtor, you are starting your own business. You are the product, basically. It's not the house. It's actually the agent that's the product. So because people need to buy houses all day long, but it's not the house. It's the person. Who do they trust to represent them? Who's going to listen to them? Who do they feel comfortable with? So yeah, that's how it is on the back end.
Okay. So you've done all of this, right? You got your foot in the game. You got your introduction into the real estate realm. I'll try to figure out what made you pivot and say, "Well, let me just start my own thing." Where did that come from? Where did that spark happen?
Yeah, so I got pulled into teaching. So other agents were asking me, well, what are you doing to be successful? And I like to share information. Some people in the industry don't like to share because then they feel like that person will become their competition. I'm the opposite. I feel like the more you share, the more successful you become. So I was sharing and I was teaching and taking the time to show new agents what to do, because as a top producing agent, you don't have a lot of time on your hands. Everything is go, 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 down to the minute. And to sorry, to give someone your time, it takes a lot. Bear with me 1 second. I went down the wrong way. so um, so to give someone your time, it's a lot. It's a lot to ask of someone in this industry, to be honest. It's not that sometimes they're not being selfish or not wanting to share. It's a lot to ask, because time is our currency in this industry. So I got pulled into teaching, and then it just became time for me to get my broker's license. I wanted that title broker because it's a lot stronger than just saying, hello, I'm a realtor. And I didn't have a degree to back me up. And when you're sitting at the table with wealthier clients, they want to know, how many languages do you speak? What school did you go to? Like college, university. And I didn't have any of that. I only speak one language, and I didn't have my degree at the time. So having my broker's license was the next step for me, just in title. So then I became broker associate with the firm that I was with, and I was doing everything. I was doing the recruiting, helping with the training, helping develop different departments. And I was putting in a lot of time and a lot of effort, and I was finding that a lot of agents were joining that company because of my relationship with them. And then it just became time for me to do my own thing. When I decided to do my own thing, I had to decide, am I going to buy into a franchise or start a new brand? So a lot of the companies that are out there, the big box names like Century 21, Better Homes, Coldwell Banker, those guys, those are actually franchise offices, and you can buy into that. So you can apply and get the franchise, and then they give you a template to work off of. It's just like getting a McDonald's or something like that, versus having your own restaurant. So I wanted to have my own brand, and people ask, what do you do? Well, yeah, I'm a real estate broker, but my activities are brand development, because ultimately T Associates is its own brand, and that's what I'm focused on. I wanted something that was unique in the way that there's no real filter in the industry. So in order to get your real estate license, you can go to a trade school and you'll take certain classes. And if you have a college degree, some of those credits will transfer over. And if that does happen, there's really only 5 courses that you need to take, and then you can take the exam. A lot of people fly through it. I completed everything in 6 weeks. Took all my classes, did everything, and had my license within 6 weeks. So there's no real filter on who got an A and who just barely passed. And then there's no guarantee on the quality of the agent that you're getting. So I wanted a brand where you knew the quality. So we don't just hire anybody. A lot of our agents most of them have business degrees, and come from very extensive backgrounds. Even if they've just gotten into the real estate industry, they usually have pretty exceptional history, and we're very big on professionalism and certain etiquettes that are in the industry, and also building relationships and making sure that we're close with other top producers, because sometimes what goes on behind closed doors where customers don't know is that sometimes agents will feud with each other, and it actually hurts the client more than anything, because then the deal doesn't get done, or the buyer wants to, the other agent wants to be selfish, so they won't give your client what they need. So there's a lot of that goes on behind closed doors. So we like to iron out those kinks and build relationships, and just have like an olive branch out to make it easier for everyone. So then ultimately the clients always get the best deal that works for them.
Okay.
So
all right, you put a whole lot of that. So I'm about to start breaking a little bit of this down. So first off, like, can we do like what is considered you mentioned top producers. So what would you like? What do y'all consider top producers in the real estate world? Like, what do y'all consider that to be? What's that criteria?
Someone that's closing consistent deals. So I call them one-hit wonders. Sometimes an agent can have an amazing year or close on an amazing deal, like a multi-million-dollar deal, and but the key is the consistency. Are they able to do that again? Are they doing it again the following year? So consistency, consistent closings back to back, and it's never a price point. It's never, oh, you're selling $100,000 houses, so you're not a top producer. Oh, you're selling $1 million houses, so you're a top producer. It's nothing like that. It's not about the price point of the property. It's all about consistency. Like, are they at least closing 1 or 2 per month, and then continuing that as well.
Okay. Now, you kind of what the main thing that stuck out to me for you is you were saying that, you know, kind of how you even got the introduction of thinking about doing something like this was that you were a teacher, and you know you were big on, you know, over here we're big on, you know, collaboration over competition. That's just kind of like the thing that I love to preach on this platform. So, you know, for one, I just want to say, you know, that's big, because what that does is, you also hit on this, is it helps with relationships and networking. And I mean, I'm sure you can kind of speak to, you know, just how important, you know, networking is, especially in the real estate game. Like, I'm figuring that out right now. So I mean, that for one, I'll say is like huge. But my biggest question for you is, because you say for the most part, what I would think that you do is not really what you like even hit on at all. Like, you mainly were just saying brand development. So, you know, that being said, like, what is some of the struggles? You know, I'm sure you had struggles when you first got started. Like, maybe you just hit the ground running. You were just that good. I don't know. But can you just kind of talk about like what goes into building a brand?
Yeah. So do you want me to answer this from a realtor side or building the brand side?
Answer from both sides. Go ahead and just break it down on both ends.
Okay. So as a realtor, I would say the hardest thing was leads. It's always generating leads. For me, I had just moved to Houston, so I didn't know anybody. I had no network, and it's all about your network. A lot of the agents that get into the industry already have a network from their previous occupation. And this has been my first and only career. So for me, just picking that up was hard, and also being taken seriously because of my age. I still have braces. When I first started, it was really tough. So a lot of my clients would double or sometimes triple my age. And sometimes I would show up and it's like, this is a kid. Why is this child going to handle my biggest investment? What does she know? So that I would say my age and building my network from scratch was probably the biggest challenges that I faced in the beginning as a realtor. As a broker, the biggest challenge has been knowing where to start because it's so, my vision is so big and there's just so much that goes into everything, and I'm very particular about details, and I don't like stuff going out there that where the quality's not all the way there. I like good quality stuff to go out. It's marketing materials, anything that we put the agents through. I like everything to be top notch and polished. So yeah, knowing where to start, and I have to be very strategic and have my lists every day, and my lists change throughout the day. Every day is different. It's new, and just everything from the finances to the legal aspects to the day-to-day of the realtors. Trademark, I had to learn about how to set up my trademark. All of that. There's just so much that goes into a brand, and then having the big vision, because hopefully we'll be worldwide one day. So making sure that the image can go anywhere. It can go in any country. It can go into any market, because we do commercial as well. We have commercial real estate agents, and they focus on different things. Like they sell warehouses and businesses, and so it's making sure that the branding allows the agent to pivot at any point in their career. So I would say that just knowing where to start, and every day is like that.
Hey, I guess. So you mentioned that. So I got a question. What is the vision for your broker? Like, what is your ultimate vision? Like, when you get to the end of it all, like, what do you want everything to look like?
Yeah, I want to be the largest privately owned brand out there. And I want us to not only focus on high end, because a lot of companies, they eventually publicly trade, or they have other investors involved. So I don't ever want to do that. I always want it to be privately owned so that the quality is managed. And then some private companies out there, they only focus on high-end properties. I don't want to exclude any source of property. I want to do low-end, middle-end, high-end, commercial. I want to be very, have a variety of different transactions. I want to represent everybody, not just a certain group. And our agents to also be, just a diverse group with different backgrounds, and that can represent everybody. I think everybody deserves to have top quality representation and advice. So yeah, that's my vision, is for us to be everywhere.
Hey, that is dope as hell. Nah, that's for sure. Like that's definitely to me big, because a lot of times people get caught up. I always say it like this. What good is success if everybody around you is still struggling? And it's kind of one of those things where what you just mentioned, it's kind of like you're not leaving anybody behind. You're trying to help everybody. And I mean that's what it should be. Shouldn't just be a thing of because a lot of times we had this thing where when we start getting success, it gets to our heads, and then we just like, all right, forget everything going on here that got us there, and now we with the big dogs, and we just gonna make it rock like that. So I mean that's huge, and I mean just you alone, you got over 10 years in the game, so consistency ain't no thing for you. You done that, you live that. Um, I kind of want to talk about, okay, so because this is, we do try to give a little, some type of business vibe to everybody. Can you kind of talk about, like the startup costs, and like everything that went into you even getting everything going and getting it off the ground to start off?
Yeah, I would say with your classes and getting licensed and taking your exam, all of that, you want to set aside about 3,000 getting started in the beginning, because you have your classes, but then you have to join your brokerage. There's things that you're going to want in the beginning, like business cards. You're going to want to get photos done, fresh new suits. There's things you're going to need and want in the beginning. So I would say 3 grand initially, but then I would have at least 3 months of reserves for bills, everyday bills, like at home, because it takes time. It's real estate is not a get rich quick scheme. It takes hard work to get, to become successful. Hard work and consistency, and you don't always close right away. Even if a broker hands over a lead that is wrapped in a bow and it's all pretty and the client's ready to go, sometimes there's not a connection there, and there's a learning period. No matter how much training an agent has, there's still a learning period. But it's not just learning the content. The agent is learning a lot about themselves. And I think that's the biggest thing with any business, is it makes you actually work on yourself, and it's yourself that you're working on, and then your business and your success is a reflection of your internal work. That's how I look at it, and it takes time. You have to face rejection. So facing rejection every day, motivating yourself to get up, being consistent, because also we can't force the agents to come into the office and do the work. They have to come into the office and ask for help and all of those things. So there's definitely at least a 3-month grace period for an agent to learn and get used to the rhythm of it. And don't count on any income in the very beginning. I mean, it may come in, but it's still going to be offsetting your costs in the beginning. It's like any business. You have a dip first, and then you grow. So just being mentally prepared for that as well helps.
Okay, so you mentioned the real estate side of it, like the agent side. What about for people like you that's trying to be the boss, trying to start their own brokerage and everything? Like, how does that like look for them? Do they have to do any of the same? Is it similar, or I would assume that's way more costly. Like you got an office space and everything. So I mean,
yeah, for sure. There's definitely a lot of cost when you're opening a brokerage, because you have to support people, and we have a new hire that we brought on this week that's on salary. So you definitely need. It depends on. Ideally, it's good when an agent has. It's not really about the finances. It's about momentum. So sometimes an agent can be a top producer and already have a team of people working with them, and then they transition into becoming a broker because they have that momentum going. And that's an easy transition. You're just basically changing your legal names and all of that, like your business entity and all of that good stuff, and your branding and things. But yeah, I would say the momentum. At a certain point, there's no amount of money that can help you or make it happen. It has to be the day-to-day. Is that already set up? The relationships. You definitely need the network and the relationships, because people are trusting you with their career. That's not an easy thing. It's not like you're baking, you have a bakery and you're making muffins and you're asking your friends to come out and support you by buying a batch of cupcakes from you. You're asking people to trust you with their career and their livelihood, and they're going to be providing for their families. That's a very big thing. So you have to have the reputation and the respect in the industry, and just, yeah, you have to be known. People need to know who you are in order to do that. So that is important. There's no amount of money that could replace that. But yeah.
All right, so I got two questions because I seen you got on Instagram. You got this whole like a whole commercial type deal going on. Uh, so I heard you like one because also you don't hear people mention this. I don't know if it's like a recruiting video or what. I'm sure you don't talk about, but you mentioned work-life balance. Like, what is work-life balance to you? Because a lot of people you don't hear. That's not really like a thing that people even mention. When they start talking about their business and stuff like that. It's kind of just like how can we? It's more of a how can we benefit you type deal like that. It's never nothing like on a personal aspect of how can we benefit your work-life balance or anything like that. So I just thought that was something different. I've never really seen anybody kind of broadcast or display before. It's like, what is that to you? Like, because it seems like you work 24/7 nonstop. So like, what is that?
Well, it's different for everybody. So when, like, for example, when we have a new agent come in, I sit them down and I have to know who they are. And I need to know, okay, do you have kids? Do you have a spouse? What is your family situation? Because I tell them that their family events need to be prioritized. This career is meant to set you free and not put you in bondage, like a 9 to 5. That's why people get into the industry. So I have them sit down and they have a calendar and they have to write down all the things that are top priority to them. And then we build the business around that. Like, okay, this time block, it's all about time blocking. And it helps you be more effective as well. Like, this hour I'm going to be putting all my efforts into this activity. And listening to your body and knowing yourself and knowing when you're tired is key. It does take time to figure it out. But for me, work-life balance will be, I wake up at 5 in the morning every day. Sometimes I wake up 4:30, because that's the quiet time. Nobody needs anything from me at that time. So that allows me to take a shower, get dressed slowly and relax, put my music on. I walk my dog. I take my dog for a walk every morning. And I don't take my phone. So getting away from my cell phone is the biggest thing for me. That's to me is work-life balance, because my phone is what? And it's constantly going. It's pinging all the time, emails, calls, text messages, social media. It's going off constantly. So just putting it away and going for a walk, breathing the fresh air, taking in the moment is important to me. So I do that every morning. I have my coffee. I'll have fruit or toast. And that's me. That's me personally and what I do in the morning. And I send out a inspirational quote to the agents in the morning, every morning at 5. And then after that, between 5 and 7 is just me getting prepared for the day in my own way, and not checking social media or anything like that, or emails or anything like that in the morning. It clears my mind. And I do things like I have a humidifier in my home that has my eucalyptus scent. I have eucalyptus in my shower. And to me, that's my, like, breathe, relax, fresh air. It clears my mind. And, I keep my home very minimalistic. So I don't do clutter. And I don't really have anything in my house that looks like work. So my bookshelves, I have covered doors, because I don't want to look at when I'm zoning out, or even if I'm watching Netflix and just binging. I don't want to be thinking about work. So I keep my space very clean and clutter free, because I am working 24/7. I have to be mindful of my spaces, and it just allows me to relax. Like when I'm in work mode, I'm in the office. It's work mode and office. And then when I'm relaxing, I'm relaxing. Because it can be very hard to switch off when you're constantly going. You go home, you lie down to sleep or take a nap, and you're just thinking of everything. I can be doing this, I can be doing that. Oh, we should this contract. It's being able to shut it off, and that's the skill. that's the hardest part. So I've had to set up my whole lifestyle to help me respect my own boundaries of
Yeah.
when time to eat, time to sleep, time to work out. I had to help me help myself.
You got. I'm just happy you said you watch Netflix. All the stuff you got going on, I'm like, man, like she got any time to like just gotta go do what she want to do. And then you threw out Netflix. I'm like, okay, at least she gets something there that ain't working. Like, God, that's hey. I mean, I get it though, cause lately I've been waking up at 7. I feel like I'm behind the curve. Like it just throws me off when I wake up that late. And I got a day job still, so it's like I don't even. More respect to you, cause 4:30. I ain't had to do that since it's been a minute since my college football days. Golly. But so you mentioned like building up a team and stuff like that. Because it's okay. So for one, let's just say anybody that want to come work for you. I heard I was thinking that you just do straight commission, but I heard you earlier mention that you got salaried employees. Like, what do they do? Like, what do they do for you?
Right, so we have a secretary that's Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, and then we also hired someone to basically generate leads for agents and be their support. So additional like assistant, like there's so many small things that come up as a realtor where you have to be on the other side of town. So if an agent can't be there and it's something like, I don't know, like recently, like the burst pipe situations and a key not being a property when it needs to be there, small things like that. This assistant is basically there to serve everyone and get there and help with appointments, for listings and things like that. So that's what that person does. So
All right, so I'm gonna try to bring this all to a close. This is my question to you, right? You got your own stuff going. You private, it's yours. But you also have all this other competition out there. What separates Gabby from everybody else?
I'm just me. I'm just myself. Everybody likes people like different things for different reasons. Like someone might like pizza, or this person might like a hamburger more than pizza. So just being myself and who I am, and I don't have a front, and I'm just always my genuine self with my agents. That's just me and who I am, and people either like that or they don't. There are other personalities out there that people gel to a lot more, and then they go to that person. And it's not really, I wouldn't really say there's a bad or a good company out there. I think it's all about the people and who you connect with on a genuine level. And I feel like this is a business where you have to be 110% genuine, because you can have people come, but if there's no connection, it just makes it not fun to work. So yeah, it's not saying I'm better or something like that. I'm just different. I'm just me, and just yeah. And I always am invested in agents and their long-term goals. I'm not in this for the short term, like a lot of people, because I am one of the youngest brokers in the city. The median age for agents actually in Texas is 56. So I'm definitely one of the younger brokers, and my vision is very long haul. So I don't just care about, are you closing this week? Are you closing? I don't just care about that. I care, how do you feel? Are you confident when you walked out of that appointment? Do you feel like you learned from that appointment or that transaction? I care about different things, not just the immediate money. That's how different I guess.
I'm glad you kind of went into that lane because I was about to just hype you up myself since you didn't want to do it. So I'm glad you closed out that. So, how does somebody work directly with you and your company for their real estate needs? Because I'm assuming, do you just do? I didn't even ask this. Are you just like strictly like residential and stuff like that, or do you do like pretty much everything under the sun when it comes to real estate?
We did everything. Yeah. And we split it residential and commercial, and we do everything under both categories. And then for us, we interview everyone. We ask everyone, we're willing to interview anyone that we talk to, or anyone that contacts me directly. I interview everyone because sometimes people may look shiny on paper, but when you meet them in person, it's a bit different, and the other way as well. Sometimes someone doesn't have all these shiny credentials, but they have just an amazing personality that comes through. So I interview and talk to everybody, and then the interview goes both ways, and we see if our vision matches with theirs, and we do consider their background and where they want to go and all of that. So then we go from there. But to interview with us, basically, sometimes agents will DM us on social media, on Instagram or on Facebook. They will call me directly sometimes as well. And we do have our marketing materials at the trade schools for real estate.
Okay. Now, I do this last segment. Let's talk to the culture. Got 5 questions. You may not even be able to answer the first one because it seems like you don't mess with social media too much. But I'm gonna run through these 5 questions. You answer for me real, best you can, and nothing crazy. But for the first one, I always, I try to get a black standout on your timeline. Somebody in the black community that just stands out to you.
Someone that stands out to me. There's so many. That is so many. I want to give a shout out to Camille Percy. She is a photographer here in Houston, Texas. She has her own business, and she's done an incredible job. It takes a lot to be an entrepreneur, especially given COVID and everything that happened last year. So anyone that I see, especially a young Black woman out there doing her thing, hands down, I've got to go to Camille Percy.
Okay, and we're not gonna shy over the fact that you mentioned you was like one of the youngest, people with a brokerage out there either. You shout out yourself. That's a quick second. Second, I always get a book recommendation. It seems like everybody I talk to, read Rich Dad Poor Dad. So you gonna just ban people from saying Rich Dad Poor Dad, because that's kind of how I got my introduction to like all this too. So.
So for a book, I would say, of course, The Rich Dad Poor Dad. For anybody, and then for realtors, I always say this one here, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It's actually a book that Keller Williams gives out to new agents, and I think it was great. I read this book when I started as a realtor, and it definitely breaks everything down, and it has amazing quotes from other top producers in the industry. So I think that's a good book when you're starting in the industry to read.
Okay, last question. What failure taught you the most?
What failure? Oh my gosh, there's been so many. Can we come back to that one? I've got to think, because that's a good one, because there's lots, and there's so many letting moments, but I can't really pin it down to one. Let's see. There's just so much every day that happens, like small things. And that's something that I've learned, is that when you're a business owner, your day is filled with like small things that are happening every day. No one tells you that. They think, being a business owner, it's hunky glory all day, every day. But really, your job is to handle everything that's going wrong as a boss. No one ever comes to you when things are going good because things are going good and they're handling it. But when things go bad and things are happening, that's when you get involved. And so your day is filled with all the things that are going wrong. So, yeah, so sorry. Go to your next question. I'll come back to that.
All right, we'll double back to it. One thing you think the Black community needs to improve on?
Buy more properties. Buy real estate. Did you know last year in Texas, I think it was 80 something. I want to say 85. Let's say 80, but it was in the 80s somewhere. 80% of the real estate transactions done in Texas last year were white people. That's a problem. That's a very, very big problem. And wealth accumulation is so important. It's not just working every day for that paycheck. You need to own something that appreciates in value. And I just think we need to, as a community, we need to prioritize that a lot more. And I find that a lot of clients that I talk to, sometimes they say, I no longer, they say, you know what, I'm going to wait until next year and save more so that I can buy a bigger house or my dream house. I think everybody's waiting too long to buy their dream house instead of just buying a piece of property. It doesn't have to be this big lavish thing that you aspire for. It should be just a normal thing that you do on a day to day. So I think we definitely need to do better there.
All right, that's powerful because that's where I'm at right now. That's why I'm about to get me a house later this year because I'm just tired of I pay as much in rent as people pay in mortgages. I don't understand it.
It's okay to start small. It's okay. It doesn't have to be over the top because then you can rent it out and then you can buy a big shiny $500,000 house.
Oh, see, I'm trying to house hack. That's where I'm trying to go right now. I'm trying to find a multifamily.
Nice.
Might hit you up for it. I don't know. But this will be the last question. We got to double back to another question. What's one piece of advice you would give somebody?
Just anybody or someone?
Anybody, just anybody. Just one piece of advice.
Be true to who you are and don't ever feel like anyone's in competition with you. Just be your authentic self, and because it's enough. And you don't have to come from a shiny background to be something. You don't have to have a degree. Your household didn't have to be a 2-parent household. The sky's the limit. And truly, it is. There are people in the world that are making millions of dollars and they're not very skilled. They're just consistent. So whatever your dream is, just be consistent and true to who you are and you will get
there. And now we double back to that failure that taught you the most.
Failure that taught me the most.
Come on, you got to answer. You can't be the only person that don't answer the question.
Yeah, no, it's really hard, I think, because I don't see my failures as failures. I think that's the problem. Things happen and you just...
I mean, that in itself is really, something that taught you the most then. Look at them as failures.
I would say in the beginning when I was finding myself, like in my career, I would try to I would oversell. Like, I would overpromise. And then the entire transaction, I would feel terrible because I feel like I didn't overperform. And that would be the biggest, I think, because it's so exhausting and it lasts for so long. So when you underpromise and you overdeliver, it's a much better feeling, and you have the motivation to keep going, and you feel good about your days. I feel like it's very important to live in the moment and feel good about every moment of your day, no matter what's going on. Because if COVID's taught us anything, is life is so short, and tomorrow they could be like quarantine again, go back indoors, right? And things can be taken away from you so quickly. You just never know. So you have to really enjoy your day. And when you're an entrepreneur, you're working 24/7, and you have to feel good about yourself and good about your day every moment of your day. And when you're beating yourself up, it's hard to do that. So under promising is probably important, because then you feel good.
Oh, hey, well, there you have it. You got it. You figured it out. And for me, just do me a favor. Anybody that's trying to reach you, contact you, get a hold of you, plug everything you got going on. Your Instagram, Facebook, however anybody can get a hold of Gabriella Thompson.
Yes. So the best way to get a hold of me is to call me or text me 832-716-5032. My Instagram is Gabby, Gabby _Thompson, THOMPS. You can DM me there as well. But my phone is with me all the time, mind you, when I'm not relaxing, but I'm on it all the time. So that's probably the best way to get a hold of me.
Yeah, like we always say on this show, what good is success? Everybody around you still struggling. Gabby's definitely somebody that has success, and ain't nobody around her struggling. That's for sure. So we got another one. Hope everybody liked it. If any value was provided to you, like, comment, subscribe to the show. Also, go run up her DMs. Go shoot her a text. You're trying to get some real estate. You never know what happens. And plus, at the end of the day, if nothing else, you got a connection, because she clearly plugged into the whole city. So, hey, that's what we have. Appreciate it.
Thank you.